On this episode of the Massive Agent Podcast, you're going to learn how to become a luxury real estate agent, how you can start selling luxury homes. What does it take to sell luxury homes? And we're bringing on Michael Lafido, he's the founder and creator of the Luxury Listing Specialist certification and podcast by the same name. He's going to teach us the roadmap so we too can become luxury real estate agents and start selling million-dollar listings.
The Massive Agent Podcast. With lead generation tips and strategies to get you more leads and sell more homes.
I love to buy houses. I like to sell houses.
It takes brass balls to sell real estate.
Wait a minute.
The leads are weak. You're weak.
I've had better.
Oh, have I got your attention now?
Here's your host, Dustin Brohm.
What is up, Massive Agents? Welcome to episode number 81 of the Massive Agent Podcast. I am your host, Dustin Brohm. This is, of course, the number one podcast on the planet hosted by me, and the number one podcast that starts with the word massive. It's just science, it's a fact, and we're just going to have to live with that. I'm very proud of it. So if you're new to the show, my name is Dustin Brohm. I'm an agent, a real estate agent in Salt Lake City, Utah with eXp Realty. I am a national speaker, trainer, and real estate marketing coach, host of another podcast called Industry Connected. It's more real estate industry news, discussion stuff, so go check that out wherever you're listening to this show. Find Industry Connected, which is produced by the Industry Syndicate. I'm also a co-founder of real estate's first media network called Industry Syndicate, and you can check out all of our shows at industrysyndicate.com. And I'm also the founder of the Massive Agent Society. That's our Facebook ads lead generation program where we give you proven Facebook ads to run. Only one agent per market's allowed. So if you want to learn, if you want to learn more about it, see how it works, and see if your market is still available to claim, go over to MassiveAgentSociety.com. When you're there, make sure you check out our lifetime membership options, which for life, that includes everything that I do, is still less than 3 months of coaching with Tom Ferry or with one of his people, because of course you're not going to get him for that price. Go check it out, MassiveAgentSociety.com. Luxury real estate. This is something that ever since I got into the business, I've been an agent for about 9 years now. I always thought I had this, like all of us, we have these misconceptions that if you're a luxury agent, that you're a different kind of agent. You do different things, which that part's true. You do different things, but we somehow talk ourselves out of being worthy or able to sell luxury homes. We see these homes listed for, $4 million, $12 million. And we're like, wow, that'd be nice to sell one of those. But we never do anything different. And then we just stay selling $250,000 homes. Well, what if we could learn how to become a luxury agent? How we too could start selling million-dollar listings. And so this week we have Michael Lafido on the show. Michael is the creator and founder of the Luxury Listing Specialist certification, and he is one of the foremost leading experts on luxury real estate and teaching other agents how they can do it in our industry. It's funny because during the interview, he actually had to cut it short because he had to run to do a showing on a $3.75 million home in the Chicago area that he's listing. Right now he's listing the mansion that is used in the Fox show Empire. What's his name? Lyons. I haven't watched the show, but I'm familiar with it. The main guy, Terrence Howard, that's his home in the show, and Michael Lafido is the current listing agent of that home. So he knows what he's talking about, and even better, Michael is so down to earth. I've always had misconceptions, not just about myself being a luxury agent, but part of the reason why most of us don't put much thought into it is we're like, well, luxury agents are douchebags. Right? There's a lot of ego, a lot of arrogance going around. Excuse me, for sure. But I met Michael at Inman Connect in New York earlier this year. He is such a nice guy, so down to earth, so humble. He's just a normal guy that happens to crush it selling multi-million-dollar listings as a matter of habit. So I thought he was the perfect fit to talk about this topic. So if you've ever wondered how you too can get a multi-million-dollar listing, first off, we're going to talk about what the definition of luxury real estate is, because luxury real estate, luxury homes, that varies by market. a $1 million listing might be luxury in your market, but in the San Francisco Bay Area, that's below median. San Jose is what, 1.2 median home price. So $1 million listing there is below median. It's all relative. So we'll dive into that. And then Michael's going to give us the roadmap of how you can break into that market, how you can go from selling, let's say your average price point is 300 right now, how you can go to sell luxury homes. Like, what do you need to do? How do you start doing that? What are the things, like, what are the differences between a luxury home and a median priced home? What are some of the misconceptions that we all have, myself included? This was such an awesome interview. Before we jump into that, I want to thank today's sponsor of the show, Postcard Mania. These guys, ever since we had their founder, Joy Gendusa, on the show for episode 70, go back to episode 70 and give that a listen. I've been so impressed with Postcard Mania, and we're so super honored and stoked that they're now a sponsor of the show. They are a direct mail company, right? They started sending postcards, and then that expanded to all kinds of direct mail. But what they do, and the reason why I'm so freaking stoked about them, and why it's so cool hearing you guys that have since hired them to do your marketing, they're a direct mail agency. They're a direct mail company that does digital marketing too. So they are a turnkey solution. If you're one of those people, you're like, you know what? I need to have an all-inclusive marketing solution. I need direct mail. I need Facebook ads. I need Google ads. I need retargeting. I need all of that stuff, and I need trackability. And of course, you could always do it yourself, but they are a turnkey solution that includes all of that. So they marry the best of digital marketing with Facebook ads and retargeting and everything with direct mail, because as we mentioned on a previous show, it all works together powerfully. So check out Postcard Mania. Super stoked with what they are doing and very proud to have them as an official sponsor of the show. They are doing a special deal for Massive Agent Podcast listeners. They have a special phone number set up so they know that you guys are Massive Agent listeners when you call. 855-980-5492. That's 855-980-5492. That number will also be in the show notes over at massiveagentpodcast.com. As with every episode, all the show notes are always over at the website. You could also go to massiveagentpodcast.com/postcardmania to check out what they are offering, and I cannot recommend them highly enough. All right, let's jump into it. Michael Lafido, like I said, I can't imagine a better representative, or that's not the word, someone better to learn from, because he's so approachable, so relatable. He's a normal guy that just happens to sell ridiculously expensive homes and does it very well. And he has a great podcast. He's the host of the Luxury Listing Specialist podcast. We're proud to have them as our first and only luxury podcast on the Industry Syndicate Media Network. So go check out his podcast. Let's jump into the interview so you can learn how you can become a luxury real estate agent as well and start selling those $1 million listings. Hey, what's up, guys? I am sitting here with Michael Lafido, the founder and creator of the Luxury Listing Specialist certification and podcast by the same name. We're lucky enough to have his podcast as a member show of the Industry Syndicate, the real estate's first media network. Michael, you're in the Chicago area, correct?
Yeah, I'm based in the Chicagoland market, correct.
Awesome. Hey, welcome to the Massive Agent Podcast. I'm stoked to learn from you today. You are definitely the luxury guy out there, and you're approachable. I think a lot of us who aren't in the luxury market, and I think a lot of us who are, have a problem with this stereotype of douchiness and stuffiness and arrogance that some luxury agents have. And when I first met you at Inman Connect in New York back in January, you were completely the opposite. You were so approachable. You were just a nice, laid-back guy who happens to be very, very good at selling luxury real estate and training others to do it. And so I cannot think of anyone better to speak on the subject of how to become a luxury agent or an agent who sells luxury homes than you. So welcome, my friend, to the Massive Agent Podcast.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the compliment.
Absolutely. So bring us up to speed real quick. Who are you? How long have you been in the business? How long have you been selling homes? And maybe even, because it's relevant, like very relevant, how did you first get into luxury real estate? Let's let's bring the audience up to speed.
Yeah, so I'll give you kind of a background. So, yeah, I graduated college in 1998 as a high school health and PE teacher, and got my real estate license in 2000 as a part-time real estate agent. Won't bore you with the details, but got my license thinking, hey, if I could sell 1 or 2 homes a year, that's the equivalency of me coaching 1 or 2 sports. I was happy with that. And became really good at it as a part-time agent. In 2007, I was the second leading producer for the entire Midwest for a large franchise called Realty Executives. And I naturally had a lot of full-time agents pick my brain and say, hey, let me take you to lunch, take you to coffee. How are you doing this, et cetera, because the economy wasn't great back then. And, we were, making well over $250,000 a year, working about 12 to 14 hours a week as a part-time real estate agent, full-time gym teacher. And so I created a product for real estate agents called the Ultimate Listing Blueprint. It was basically your DVD, CD set. And long story short, Dustin, we had someone buy my product. It was $597 down in Jacksonville, who happened to be one of the he worked with the top producing agents and teams with a national franchise called ERA, which you've probably heard of. And he ended up referring me to several folks, including some luxury agents. And I basically made the shift from consulting and coaching agents general to luxury. And I basically picked up and moved my home selling business, because I'm one of these trainers and speakers that practices what they preach. I'm still in the trenches, unlike many of these others.
Right.
And I moved my book of business to an area that I hadn't sold anything before. That was about 45 minutes away from home. That was a luxury market, and I knew nobody. And so basically within the first 6 months to a year, I had agents from all over town and saying, hey, who is this guy? Where did this guy come from? I joined the Chamber of Commerce. I got involved. I did some prospecting, lead generation, and my luxury inventory skyrocketed personally. And as I mentioned, I started focusing my consulting and coaching in the luxury space.
So what were you doing then where you were able to just build your business that fast, that quickly, that all these other agents took notice and some of them were probably kind of pissed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How were you able to do that? What did that look like?
So it was a multi-approach. So first off, right, growing your knowledge of the market, growing your confidence, and those work hand in hand. I tell agents all the time, grow your knowledge and your confidence will grow. So picking the brain of top luxury agents, being ingrained, going to the broker opens, working some of the buyer luxury clients, and starting to grow my knowledge and my confidence, and being involved in the local chamber. Although I knew nobody, I got involved in that local luxury chamber. This was a town called Hinsdale, Illinois. There were more $1 million sales, single-family homes in the town of Hinsdale at the time than any other suburb. The Chicago Bulls head coach lived there, the Chicago Blackhawks head coach. And so it's kind of like the 90210 of the Chicagoland market, if you will. And so I basically knew nobody, commuted 45 minutes to get to work each day, and got involved in the chamber, started networking with other business owners and getting involved. And so that's one of the things I always recommend to agents is step out of their comfort zone. That's where the magic happens, Dustin. And that's exactly what we did.
So it sounds like there might actually be some work required in order to start selling luxury homes. That it's not just like running a single Facebook ad and boom, you're a luxury agent, correct?
It takes time, right? Robert De Niro in the movie Meet the Parents, right? It's very difficult to penetrate the circle of trust when you're dealing with high net worth individuals and luxury clients. They're a little bit more closely guarded. And so sometimes you have to get in with them through their circle of trust, through their influencers. And so joining a chamber, starting a luxury networking group, catering to people that indirectly have these relationships. Just today, I was having a conversation with a gentleman who is like the personal driver for the Chicago Cubs. I mean, and the Chicago Bears. So when they have a high net worth, VIP type trade, the Cubs just signed this for this closer that was with the Boston Red Sox. This guy was driving him around, and I'm selling a vineyard right now in the Chicagoland marketplace. It's about 2 hours west, and so my wheels were thinking. So I said, "Hey, George, would it be value to you while you're driving these people around to give them a complimentary bottle of wine as you're taking them to their hotel or whatever?" And so I'm already thinking, how can I get my product? I'm selling a vineyard that they produce 60,000 bottles of wine a year. And how can I get that in front of more people where it's a win-win? It's a win for the driver. It's a win for the professional athlete. Like, oh, that was cool. Everybody likes gifts. Make it a win-win. And I tell agents all the time, you have to understand the most listened to radio station, Dustin, that your listeners listen to, as well as prospective clients listen to, as well as buyers and sellers. And that is WIIFM. And that stands for What's in it for me. So as soon as an agent, a lender, a broker understands the most listened to radio station, their conversion will skyrocket. If I'm a broker owner or team leader and I'm trying to recruit an agent, okay, what keeps that prospective team member awake at night? What's in it for them? That's all they care about. And so if I'm recruiting them, I'm not going to talk about all these features. I'm going to talk about how the benefits, what benefits them, how they're going to get more clients. And if I'm talking to a prospective seller, I'm not going to talk about all my awards and I'm on this titanium club and I'm here. I'm going to talk about how our marketing plan will get more eyeball traffic, which more eyeball traffic increases the likelihood to get their home sold, especially in a buyer's market. So again, understanding the most listened to radio station when you're creating a Facebook ad, when you're doing a video, when you're on a listing appointment is going to help convert big time.
Oh, 100%. And luxury or not, like that's just how you become a more successful real estate salesperson or more successful doing anything. Like if you're a dentist, you need to understand like your marketing should not be what you want to tell people. It should be what they want to hear. As an agent, it's amazing how many other agents and loan officers put out marketing pieces that is about, it's just what they want people to hear. Like a market update about rates. Consumers don't give a shit.
No.
They really don't.
No.
And so going back to something you said in the beginning, I thought was
no different. It's no different with the time zone, right? You get 8,000 emails from other agents. Oh, clock's ahead, clocks behind. It's like
the daylight savings.
Value.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Value, not something cheesy that people are going to throw out.
100%. You said something a little while ago how one of the keys when you were first starting out to rocketing to success, so to speak, is you just studied and you learned the market. And when you learn the market, you gain confidence. That's how it's been for me. I used to not really study the market locally much, but once I really started diving into the absorption rate and just all that stuff like median home price in this neighborhood and this one and average days on market, once you start wrapping your head around that stuff, you get confidence because then you go into any situation, any meeting, any presentation, and if they ask you a question, boom, you've got it. And when you've got the answers, you're more confident and they can feel it. So you think confidence was a big, big, big part of you launching your business. I assume it's continued to be a huge part of it. How does somebody, aside from just studying the market, what are some other ways that agents can build their confidence to be like, you know what, damn it, I can be a luxury agent. I can sell a $4 million home. Why not?
Yeah, grow your knowledge and your confidence will grow. So how do you grow your knowledge? I.e., some great free resources out there. As you mentioned in the intro, I have a podcast. We have over 60 episodes. Our last episode had Brad Inman on, and we got 60 episodes out there. I get notes all the time from agents, random agents. I got one last night, just totally Facebook private message. just saying, hey, really appreciate your podcast. Thanks for what you're doing. Love the nuggets. These are all things, that we try to give some great free content. So there's tons of great free information. Again, go to iTunes or Stitcher. It's Luxury Listing Specialist on those, or just go to luxurylistingpodcast.com. So Dustin, that's one way. The other thing I would do is, if I were an agent, I would go through some of the broker tours of the high-end and luxury homes in your market. Walk through the homes. Get authorization from the listing agent to maybe take some photos or Facebook Lives. And you know how it is. People, they thumb through their Facebook on their phone. Many times those videos are on mute, and all of a sudden, oh, look at Dustin. He's at that lakefront property. Wow, that's cool. Oh, that's right. I forgot Dustin was in real estate. I thought he only worked with buyers, or I thought he only did small homes. Now I'm seeing him all at these luxury homes. It's social proof. And don't mislead. Don't say it's your listing. But naturally, people don't read anyways, or they won't listen to the video, and they just see you at this home and associate that's your listing. So
right.
Those are side benefits. So you grow your knowledge, and your confidence will grow as you go through these homes. There's so many limiting beliefs that real estate agents, team leaders have. I got to be licensed for X amount of years. I got to be with a certain brokerage. I got to drive a certain car. I have to have sold X amount of these properties before I can do it. For example, I'm selling a home right now that's $9.5 million. It's the Architectural Digest named it the most beautiful home for sale in Illinois. It's the backdrop for the controversial show right now, unfortunately, Empire. Empire is going into its 6th year, and the main character is Terrence Howard. It's his house on the TV show. It's not his real house in real life, but in the TV show. And unfortunately, Empire's got a lot of bad press this year because of the Jesse Smollett case. But where am I going with this is that literally has been on Mansion Global, it's been on the news, been on all these publications, and that's the power of social media. I got this listing 3+ years ago because a girl that I went to high school with, she was 2 years younger than me, Dustin. She would have never been on my physical newsletter list, right? Like, I send out newsletters. I wouldn't even know where to reach Jenny. She wasn't even on my radar, but through social media, we were friends on social media. And she saw some of the creative marketing I was doing, some of the videos I was putting out there, and she referred me to her aunt and uncle. And I went on this listing appointment, and what did he ask me? It was $10 million at the time. It was $12.5 million. He asked me, how many homes have I sold at this price point, and how many homes have I sold locally? And I told him, I said, listen, if you want the local agent, the rock star local agent, I'm not your guy, but your last 2 agents were local and they didn't get your home sold. So if you're looking for someone that's aggressive, that thinks outside the box, that's going to position your home better than the competition, that is well connected, that's going to negotiate for your money like it's my own, you're talking to the right guy. Then he said, well, what do you charge? My last agent charged me 4%. I said, I guarantee I'm by far going to be the most expensive agent you interview, but I'm going to share with you how you're going to net more money. And so at the end of the day, the guy ended up hiring me at a couple percent higher than the previous person because he saw the value. But too many agents try to compete by discounting their fee, and they will actually detract from potential high net worth individuals who are used to paying a premium for their dining experience, their clothing, their cars, etc. You will actually turn them off by competing in most cases by lowering your fee.
That is great advice. And that's been my experience too. And I haven't really sold any quote unquote luxury homes, but I've sold some homes that are creeping up on that level. And you can tell, like, you have to remember who these people are. The reason they have a $12 million home or a $2 million home or whatever is they understand value. That's a big reason that's helped them become successful financially and everything else. So, show your value. And I think it's even more, I think confidence and your value are absolutely crucial, even more so with the luxury sellers than the rest of the market. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, it's very fair. But you brought me to a point where I want to make sure we talk about luxury is all relative. So
yes.
There's a lot of brands like leading real estate companies of the world. Their luxury division is called Luxury Portfolio. Like they define luxury as $1 million. In other words, if your listing is not $1 million or more, it can't be on their website. I want to tell you that that's not the case in all markets. I believe we define at our certification, which is known as Luxury Listing Specialist, Dustin, we define luxury as home prices that are 3 times the average sale price for that given market. So I was doing a training in St. Louis in May of this year. The average sale price was $160,000. So the average sale price for luxury times 3 is about $480 and above. So it's all relative is my point. And so I look at I tell agents there's 4 primary price points in most markets. You have entry-level priced homes, you have average priced homes, you have high-end, which we define as 2 times the average sale price for that given market. And then we have luxury homes, which I've already defined for you as 3 times the average sale price for that given market. So I tell agents to diversify your portfolio. We're not telling you to quit selling entry-level and average priced homes if that's what's selling in your market or if that's what you specialize in. But we are saying add some more sales to your high-end buckets and your luxury buckets. And that, I think, is the lowest hanging fruit where agents could A, break into, but B, agents can work smarter, not harder, and sell more volume selling the same number of homes by increasing your average sale price. I think that's the lowest hanging fruit.
I love it. And I think your definition of what luxury real estate is spot on. That makes so much sense. So in Salt Lake City, median home price is around 400, 1.2 being, your definition of luxury. That feels right to me. Mm-hmm. And I've heard on your podcast, I've heard you talk to other guests about their markets, and I think that's a great definition. So, and thank you for bringing that up too, because we all take for granted, luxury, and it means something different everywhere. Miami is different from Salt Lake, is different from Sioux Falls. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Good point.
Yeah, no, it really does. So no problem. You're welcome. So so that is something, because I, had someone in that St. Louis training come up to me afterward and say, thank you, A, for coming, but thanks for defining that, because I was hesitant to come today because we don't have a lot of $1 million listings in the markets I serve. But based on your definition, we definitely have a lot of 450s and 500s and 600s and even 350s, which are in the high-end market. So, again, it's all relative.
Absolutely. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that agents who don't sell luxury homes, the average agent, what are some of the biggest misconceptions that they have of what you do or what a luxury agent does?
Well, some of the misconceptions could be, and let me step back, some of the fears or some reasons that some agents won't go into the luxury is because luxury homes do take typically longer to sell, which require more time and energy and marketing dollars. But that's not always the case. Sometimes, homes sell right away. The high-end and luxury homes are going to either sell right away or they could take a long time. So some agents, I did one training recently, and this gentleman had told me he has never had a listing not sell or get expired or get canceled. And this was in Toronto. And his biggest fear of going after luxury is his batting average, or his statistics would be not as impressive if he listed luxury homes. And that was his biggest reason that he didn't want to go into that marketplace. And so I said, just like anything else, do the pros outweigh the cons? Like, I don't know what's holding some agents back, but I would tell you, I think the fastest way for any agent that's listening right now to get instant credibility from their database, their sphere, people that know them, like them, or trust them, or for that matter, people that don't even like you or trust you, is land that first trophy listing in your given market. There's instant credibility. Instant. There's an agent who was associated with the sale of Michael Jordan's home a few years ago. And oh, by the way, he didn't get it sold and it's still listed. He's not with that firm anymore. He's not even the co-listing agent, but he still gets interviews and requests and asked about it. And he didn't even get the darn thing sold. So I believe if you can get the listing and of course get it sold, you can leverage it even more.
Absolutely. Great advice. When somebody comes to take your certification and they are trying to break into the luxury market, what are some of the biggest, aside from like the fears and everything, what's holding people back? Not to sound redundant, but some of the things holding them back is, the things they're telling themselves in between their ears, right? A lot of times people are their worst enemies, right? Michael Jackson saying, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Most of the time, the man in the mirror is their worst enemy. And so, I teach my certification is a 16 module certification, and the first 7 modules are all what I call before the signed listing agreement. So working on the mindset, the marketing, the conversion, best practices of use of video, best pre-listing packages, how to get the seller pre-sold about you before the appointment, and then best practices on the actual listing appointment. But it's really the mindset is, I think, the core foundation. That's module 2. The foundation of a home, if it's weak, it's going to crumble, and the rest of the house will have problems, right? And so most agents have a poor foundation, their mindset. I tell agents, garbage in, garbage out. Absolutely.
No, it's garbage in, garbage stays. Think about it. The doom and gloom, the media, it's negative, negative, negative. And so who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you surrounding yourself with negative Nancy and negative Nick? Or are you surrounding yourself with positive, like-minded people? If you hang out with 9 top producers, Dustin, you're bound to be the 10th, okay? And so surround yourself with people that are hungrier than you, that have a skill set. Again, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Absolutely. So where can agents go to hang out with other top producers? Where can they meet them? Where can they become friends with them?
Yeah, so there's great luxury conferences out there. I'm a big proponent. Inman's it's called Luxury Connect. It's in the fall. If they use the promo code LUXE, LUXE, they'll get $250 off. That's an annual event where top luxury agents go. You can be a fly on the wall. You can join a team in your marketplace where there's top luxury agents, or maybe a team that specializes in luxury, and be a fly in the wall and work through open houses and just be a sponge and absorb. They can invest in, we have a certification. It's not cheap. We don't have any sales requirement. If an agent's hungry and they're willing to invest in themselves, we will train them. It's an online platform. They get a username and password, and they get access to over 10 hours of content, over hundreds of documents. That's another resource they can get. I mean, there's plenty of different resources out there, but Tony Robbins once said, success leaves clues. Go figure out what someone else is doing great, model it, tweak it, and make it your own.
What would you say is... Let's talk about the way you dress, because I think a lot of people think that to be a luxury agent, you must wear suits. You must be dressed super fancy all the time, like you see on $1 Million Listing or something. Is that accurate, or is that just a misconception?
Misconception. I mean, some of the multimillionaires I know, they wear T-shirts and jeans most of the time. Now again, they're the owners of the home. I'll tell an agent, until you have a huge portfolio and a following, you're going to have to dress a little bit nicer, wear that suit and tie, and look the part. But when you have a book of business and you are attracting business, you get referrals. When the Chicago Bears traded for Khalil Mack, and they signed him to the richest NFL contract for a defensive player in NFL history, that was Saturday, September 1st of 2018. That evening, I got a call from his agent in Florida. They found me online. There's so much information out there. Okay. When you start attracting opportunities, I wear a sport coat and a collared shirt. I don't wear a tie on those appointments, but I built my business there. Now, so those are some misconceptions. But again, until you have that book of business, you might have to fake it till you make it. I'd recommend agents listening to this podcast work luxury agents open houses, and start working those buyers. Go to broker opens, join the chamber. Start a luxury networking group, digest and absorb great content through the Luxury Listing Specialist podcast or other great resources out there for free. Invest in a coach, a mentor, a certification. Join a luxury team. These are all great ideas for agents to streamline and to cut in front of the line, so to speak, and take that easy button. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be easier.
And Michael, I know that you're running up on time. Michael told me beforehand he's got to run to a showing for a $3.5 million home.
Yeah, $3.75 million. We have a second showing. This home, I'm the third agent. They contacted me. I showed up the day of the photos. We gave him a laundry list of things to do. He didn't want to invest in the stager. Of course, he didn't do anything. Even though we told him, we gave him a list. Oh yeah, we'll do it. So Dustin, it took me about 3 hours, me and a partner, moving things around to make sure it was photographic and the way it should be. Because again, you have one time to make a first impression. So yeah, I had a collared shirt on and I was sweating, but again, I'm willing to do the things my competition isn't. And that's what your listeners need to be doing if they want to be a rock star luxury agent for their given market.
Before we jump into the rapid fire questions that we have for each guest, what are some of those things that you do when you get a listing? What are some of the things you do to sell the home? You mentioned staging. What are some of the other things that you do that help separate you?
Well, there's 3 reasons why a home, let alone a luxury home, won't sell. Number 1, price. Number 2, the exposure or the marketing. And number 3 is the positioning of the home. The positioning of the home is key. It's vital. You don't hit that launch button. I call it a property launch. Like Steve Jobs had the product launch. I won't hit live on the multiple listing service or send my photographer over there until we've done the things that it takes to get the home sold. You got one time to make a first impression. So you as an agent have to do a good job articulating to the seller why they need to do X, why they need to do this. I was just on a listing appointment this morning for a home. It was an entry-level home in my market, $475,000, and it was an elderly client. He had orange kitchen painted. His walls were orange, and his dining room was like a dark brown. I didn't tell him what he wanted to hear. I built rapport. Theodore Roosevelt once said, nobody cares how much you know until they know you care. So a good 45 minutes to an hour into the appointment, I asked him, hey, are you open to some suggestions that will increase your buyer pool, that will increase your likelihood to get your sale price that you desire? And he said, absolutely. And so articulating to an owner in a way that they're not threatened, they're not offended, but they trust you. And if you tell them to jump, they say how high. They give you the keys to the house, so to speak, and say, what do I need to do to get the home sold? That is huge, and most agents are terrible at it, unfortunately.
You're right, and not just in the luxury market, but all across the board, 100%. That's why 80% of the business is done by 20% of the agents, or it might even be a smaller percentage than that. I don't know, but that's the way it is. It's human nature. It's not just our business, but by doing the things Michael's talking about, you can absolutely be one of those doing, selling the majority of the business out there, selling the majority of the homes. Excuse me. So real quick, so you can head to your showing and get an offer written and all that good stuff. For every guest we have on, we have some rapid fire questions just to help us get to know you a little bit better, either or, and then we'll wrap it up with letting everyone know where they can find you and follow you and learn more from you. So Michael, Facebook or Instagram?
I'm more of a Facebook guy. There's great information out there. We have a free group out there. It's on Facebook. It's just Luxury Listing Specialist. If you look it up, we post great content there. So check it out. So I'm more of a Facebook guy, although we do have Instagram, but check out Luxury Listing Specialist on Facebook.
There's an awesome free resource for anyone wanting to, get up to speed on the luxury world and what you need to know and learn from some other top producers. That's cool. Instagram or Snapchat?
Instagram. I don't have a Snapchat account, and I'm not proud of that, but I tell real estate agents you really need to have 3, maybe 4 social media platforms that you really are dialed in, you're comfortable with.
Yes.
So even if you're not a LinkedIn guy, but you're going after high net worth individuals, CEOs, that kind of stuff, they probably are LinkedIn. So you should have a LinkedIn profile that's optimized, it's updated, your photos are consistent throughout your social media platforms. People are going to Google you, they're going to do their due diligence. So I don't have a Snapchat, so I'm going to say Instagram.
Cool. Book or podcast?
Book or podcast as far as?
Whatever that means to you. Do you prefer books or podcasts?
So I am a reader. I'm not a podcast listener, although I'm a podcast producer. So I'm going to say book. But if there is an agent out there looking to position themselves as a leading authority, I tell people the fastest way to become an expert is authorship and public speaking. So if you're an agent listening and you speak at your Women's Council Realtor or the Chamber, or you give a real estate update somewhere in your community, make sure you leverage it and get it on video.
Love it. iPhone or Android?
I'm an Android guy. I'm a Samsung Galaxy Note guy.
Oh, geez. All right. You're doing so well, Michael, and then you went off the rails.
I didn't say BlackBerry.
That's right. Unlike our former president with his freaking BlackBerry.
Yep.
Alexa or Google Home?
We have Alexa at our house.
And I forgot to turn mine off, as usual.
Oh, yeah, it's talking to you. I see it.
Yeah, always listening. Burgers or pizza?
I'm Italian, so I do like my Italian food, but I am more of a burger guy.
Nice. I'm with you on that. New York or L.A.?
That's a great question. I would say L.A. just because of the luxury market, but I do like New York, but L.A.
Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more specific then for you, Mr. Luxury Real Estate. Beverly Hills or Manhattan?
Beverly Hills is more my style. I got a lot of luxury real estate friends out there, so I'm going to say Beverly Hills.
Cool. White Sox or Cubs?
Oh, Cubs all day.
See, I don't know. I haven't been to Chicago. It seems like no one likes the White Sox, so why the hell do they even have the team? Like, who likes the White Sox?
No, you know what? They won the World Series in 2005, and I was very excited for them. So I'm a Cubs guy, but I'm a Chicago fan, so I do root for them, just not against the Cubs.
Okay. I'm being serious, though. Like, who does like the White Sox?
It's actually a good contingency, even though they don't ever sell out their home games, it seems like. But they do have a decent fan base, but I'd say they have a third amount of fans versus 2/3 the Cubs fans.
Okay. That's kind of what it seems like from the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball or basketball?
I'm going to say basketball. I like playing basketball more, too, and I like the NBA Finals, but I do watch the playoffs. My Cubs finally won the World Series a couple of years ago. That was pretty cool.
That was cool. Even me, the not baseball fan, watched that. That was
108 years, right? I think anybody was pulling for the underdog there.
Oh, hell yeah. That was awesome. Mountains or beach?
Beach.
Are we in a real estate bubble or not in a real estate bubble?
Well, I'm going to say we're in a bubble. See, if the Chicagoland market is an anomaly, we've been a buyer's market for a decade, right? There's 3 to 4 years of inventory in most suburbs for $1 million plus properties. So but overall as a country, I'm going to say we're going to be in a bubble, and all indications, and everyone I'm talking to says 2020 is going to be like a recession. It's going to be a slower real estate year.
Interesting. Cool. Podcasting or vlogging?
I'm going to say vlogging. Video is here to stay. It's not a fad. We have a video blog, a vlog, if you will. Go to Lux Redefine. That's LUXE redefined.com, where we release educational videos for real estate agents about one every other week. But there's some great content out there. So vlogging.
Awesome. YouTube or Facebook Live?
Both, but I would say YouTube, because they're evergreen. They're there. We're on Facebook Live, as you know. You can't leverage them as much.
Great point. Great point. Uber or Lyft?
I'm an Uber guy.
And Gary Vee or Grant Cardone?
I don't know much about either, to be honest with you. When I say that, I don't follow either. Okay, I know both, if you will.
Sure.
I do have Cardone's 10X book, so I'm going to say Cardone.
Okay. And that's a great book. I'm very outspoken that I'm not a Grant Cardone fan, but his books are fantastic. I just don't like hearing his voice is ultimately my issue with him. All right, so real quick to wrap it up, give us one app recommendation that you cannot live without, and then where can the listeners find you and consume more of your content?
Yeah, so great question. So one app I can't live without?
Yes.
That's a great question. So I do like Inman News from the standpoint there's just a lot of different controversial stuff out there. So I guess I'll say Inman News, but where can they find me? You can send me an email at any questions you guys have. Michael at marketingluxurygroup.com. Michael at Marketing Luxury Group. As I mentioned, we have some great free content out there. I gave you Lux Redefined, which is my blog. I gave you our podcast. It's on iTunes, Luxury Listing Specialist. And if they want more information, like, hey, they're dead serious, they want to increase their average sale price, work smarter, not harder, they can invest in our certification. We have so many case studies. I have one agent out of Dallas. Within 60 days of my course, she went on a $5.1 million canceled and expired listing appointment. She told me before my course she would not have even gone on $1 million listing appointment because of fear, limiting beliefs. What if they ask me this? What if? And so I encourage agents, if they want to step outside their comfort zone, if they want to differentiate themselves, they should check out luxurylistingspecialist.com.
I love it. Michael, thank you so much, man. Good luck on your showing today at your $3.75 million listing. Appreciate you being on the Massive Agent Podcast. Guys, go follow Michael Lafido. And if you're going to be at Inman Connect in Vegas here in a couple weeks, a week or so, he'll be there. I'll be there. And so would love to meet you guys in person. Thank you guys so much. Michael, thanks again.
You're welcome. Thanks, Dustin.
You bet.
I hope that interview and that information from Michael really switched some things in your mind, because it really is whether you can be a luxury agent or not is literally up to you. If we decide that we are going to sell luxury homes, we can do it. There's no difference between Michael and me. There's no difference between Michael and you. There's no difference between luxury agent A in your market and you. They made the decision that, hey, I'm going to do this. And they started doing certain things that Michael talked about, and they started getting luxury listings. So if you do those things, you could also do that. So I hope this was helpful. Michael, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Super helpful stuff. Great topic as always, and we appreciate it. All right, guys, if you're doing any kind of lead generation, what happens when a lead comes in at 3 a.m.? What happens if you are, having dinner with the family and a lead comes in? Well, it's well known now. We talk about it till we're blue in the face that if you don't respond within 5 minutes, maximum, ideally you need to be responding within the first minute or two. But if you don't respond to your leads within 5 minutes max, they may as well not even exist. The stats show that after 5 minutes, if you haven't responded, they're gone. It's a huge drop off in the response rate if it's after 5 minutes. So what's the solution? You can hire an inside sales agent You could, but they're a human being. They have to sleep, they have to eat, they have family, and they're not going to be available 24/7, 365. They're going to take Christmas morning off, as they should. So what's the solution then? Do you just put them on a drip campaign and just blast, canned videos and canned texts to everybody? Well, that's better than not responding, but the best possible solution is to hire someone who all they do is respond to leads all day long for agents and loan officers now all around the country. And they're in Canada as well. So that's all they do. They are the best at responding to leads. They are available 24/7, 365, and they're in San Diego. The company is called Agentology. I absolutely swear by Agentology. I've been with them for almost 2 years. Every single lead that I have coming in, whether it's organic through my website or through a Facebook ad or a Google ad or something, I have Agentology respond to. I have Agentology respond to 100% of my leads because they drastically increase the response I get, which means more clients, more closings, more money. And it can be a little bit of an investment. It ends up being like $6 a lead, $5 or $6 a lead, but it's so worth it. So guys, Agentology is giving $50 off the first month. If you want to try them out, if you're running any kind of, if you have leads coming in from any source at all, you've got to give Agentology a shot. They are absolute pros. I just cannot speak highly enough of them. So massiveagentpodcast.com/Agentology. Use that special link and they will give you $50 off your first month. That's massiveagentpodcast.com/Agentology. And give them a shot. Get that. Make sure you use the link. Get the discount. Get the $50 off. And I highly recommend you give them a shot for at least a few months. 1 month is usually not enough to get a handle on it unless you have a bunch of leads coming in. But give them a chance. I'm telling you, by having someone respond pretty much instantly, 24/7, 365 to every single one of your leads, do you think you're going to close more deals? Do you think you're going to convert more of those leads? Absolutely. Especially with the data that they spit out and give back to you showing where the majority of your better leads are coming from, then you can make adjustments that saves you even more money. So massiveagentpodcast.com/Agentology. They are the best in the business. I swear by them. Guys, we are just about at episode 365 of the Massive Agent Minute Alexa Flash Briefing, which is so cool. We've been doing it for about a year, every single day, 7 days a week. So if you are using Alexa, we have these things called flash briefings. They're like little mini podcasts, little news flashes or news updates every single day. I do one every day. Not everyone does, but my show is called the Massive Agent Minute. It's a supplement or an extension of this podcast. So if you like this show, if you listen to this show, if you're listening to Industry Connected and you want more, but you want it in smaller doses, go enable on your Alexa device or your Alexa app, or even on Amazon's app. Okay. You can just go to the Amazon app, type in Massive Agent Minute, boom, find it. And then you can play your flash briefings through the Alexa app the Alexa or Amazon app if you don't have a device. But just say, Alexa, enable the Massive Agent Minute, enable it. And then every day just say, Alexa, play my flash briefings, and our show, along with any other flash briefings you have enabled, will play. And there you go. We'd appreciate it if you have been listening, and if you've received any value, please leave us a review or a rating on the Alexa platform. And if you like the show, if you've had any value from the show, please leave us a review or a rating. You have no idea how much it helps. It's a signal to the podcast platforms that this show is in demand, and it helps us to grow our audience. By growing our audience, we can attract bigger and better guests over time. This is how we're going to get Gary Vee on the show eventually. This is how we're going to get Tom Ferry on the show. This is how we're going to get Gary Keller on the show. This is how we're going to get Glenn Sanford on the show, is by growing a bigger audience. So by doing something as simple as giving us a review or a rating on iTunes specifically, it helps us out tremendously. And then share it with a colleague. If you like this show, share it with someone in your office. Share it with a colleague, another realtor or loan officer Facebook friend. Share it with them. Just share massiveagentpodcast.com or send a link to whatever particular episode you've been listening. We cannot thank you enough for helping us to do that. As a free podcast, I feel like it's an equitable trade. We give you weekly or daily with our flash briefing. We give you free weekly content. And if you're listening weekly, you must like it. You must get something from it. So I think it's fair to ask that you help to spread the word. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. All right. Lastly, we just barely launched the Massive Agent Gear Store. So if you want a Massive Agent t-shirt, Massive Agent podcast coffee mug, a Massive Agent iPhone case, a hoodie, a freaking sticker, whatever, we even have Massive Agent podcast socks. So here's what's really cool. We have Massive Agent in training onesies and clothes for kids. So you can get a pink one, a blue one, a white one, whatever. For your kids, it says Massive Agent in Training. Go check out what we have over at massiveagentpodcast.com/store, massiveagentpodcast.com/store. And we make a few dollars off of every purchase. It literally like a few dollars. It's not this big cash cow. But every dollar that we do get, every purchase you make, helps us out with us being able to reinvest it back into the show. We're going to be doing a contest soon. So if you guys pick up a t-shirt or any kind of Massive Agent gear whatsoever, make sure, and I haven't figured out the exact prize, but it's probably going to be something along the lines of like a year's free membership to the Massive Agent Society. Not bad. That's a $2,000 value right there. So, you know what? I said it. Since I put it out there, that's going to be the prize. I don't know the exact deadline. I haven't put together any of the stuff yet for the contest, but if you do pick up a shirt or a sticker or whatever it is from our gear store at massiveagentpodcast.com/store, then make sure you take a picture of it, tag us on Instagram or Facebook. But Instagram stories is easier. Take a photo, tag Massive Agent on it so that we see it, and we will enter you in the contest. So the contest probably won't end for a couple weeks once I define what the contest is. But if you do it now, we're still going to enter you. I'll make a running list of everyone who's entered, and every single piece that you do purchase, let's say you get 2 different t-shirts and a pair of socks, Massive Agent Podcast socks, which are freaking awesome. That's 3 different entries. Make sure you take a photo of each one, tag us, and you'll be entered for each item. Cool, guys. Thank you so much. Hope this was a valuable episode. I hope this helps you adjust your mindset a little bit to how you can start selling luxury homes. You don't have to be a superhuman. You don't have to be special to sell luxury real estate. You just have to switch your mindset and start doing some different activities. You have to put the intention out there and then go for it and act as if. Act as if, become the luxury agent, and guess what? You will, because what you focus on expands. That is a universal truth, just like gravity. What you focus on expands. Focus on attracting $1 million listings. Enjoy it, guys. Have fun with it. I will see you next week for another episode 82 of the Massive Agent Podcast. Have a great weekend. See ya.